Well, I guess the first thing I have to ask is why Mexico and specifically why Rancho Costa Verde?
Well, I've worked with a lot of Latin families in the Sacramento area in schools, and I love the attention that the parents gave to the children and all the support that they gave. And I really appreciated the Mexican culture. And I talked with a lot of the families about where they were from, and a lot of them from Guadalajara or mainland Mexico. But that first piqued my curiosity.
And at the time, when we knew we were going to be retiring, we started exploring different places, different countries to live in. We both knew we wanted to strike out on an adventure, try something new, and did a lot of research about other countries. And every one of them came up short for us. They were too far away. They just didn't meet what we needed. And then we found Terry had seen the article in the Sacramento Bee about Rancho Costa Verde. And that started us thinking in that direction.
It was an ad that talked about affordable living by the sea with the potential for self-preservation and actually self-sustainability. And all of that sounded great to me. And I knew that the Sea of Cortez was what Jacques Cousteau called the world's aquarium, just how prolific the fish, the birds, the mammals were in the Sea of Cortez. And the fact that we could drive across the border, be back in California in about 3 hours, was extremely appealing.
When you say you can be back in California in 3 hours, did you find the drive, at least at first, long or tedious?
The first few times it seemed very long, and now it's second nature. It's just not a big deal. Terry's had a few times. He's gone up, gone shopping, come back, all in one day. So it's not out of the question at all to do it, and it really is close. If you need to get to the States, it's a quick and easy. I don't want to say quick and easy, but it's not like getting on an airplane. The places that we were looking at would have been hours and hours and hours if we had to get back to California.
Yeah,
days and days and days. And this is fairly simple.
And the other part to it is that there's very little traffic. If we see 2 cars in a row, it's a traffic jam. And so we can cruise along, and it's really a very comfortable drive.
Did the safety aspect, the purported crime here in Mexico, which I haven't seen, did that come into play at all?
The safety, that's the criticism you get from a lot of people. You know, when you say, oh, we're moving to Mexico, oh, aren't you afraid? You know, there's drug dealers and there's murder and all that. And that really never entered the picture for us. Partially because this community has 24-hour security. It really feels very safe here, actually safer than probably being in the States.
And in Baja as a whole, and not just in this community, I feel very safe. And it's not as though we're doing something illegal. And we feel, I'll speak for myself, I feel very welcome. And that we are guests in a foreign country, but we're guests who are taken in.
And you actually own this property?
We own the property. There's the fideicommissa component, which allows to own the land, although Andy's talking about once we've been here 5.5 years, becoming a dual citizen, and then you don't even need a fideicommissa.
That's after you get your permanent residency, which we got right away when we moved here. Then there's a 5.5-year waiting period before you can apply to become a dual citizen.
But our children, speaking of safety, when they heard that we were looking into buying property in Baja, they said, don't do it, don't do it. They were concerned. They had heard all the stories, and which, have really turned out to not be at all accurate. And then after we built and they came down and visited, they said, "Oh, now we understand."
Yeah, no hesitation at all on their part now. They're really excited that we're here. They see how happy we are, and it's been good.
And there's a thing called affordability. Our son was talking to Andy and saying, do you think that Dad ever in his wildest dreams would have thought that he would be living by the sea in a custom-built home? And the answer to that is no. But it's reasonable here. It's not only affordable to buy land and build a home, but the cost of living is so affordable that it gives us discretionary income to do a lot of traveling.
What did you folks do before you retired in your workaday world?
For many, many years, had my own company and was involved in after-school enrichment programs and childcare centers. And we did just a number of really fun educational programs for kids. I spent the last 10 years of my career at the University of California at Davis in the School of Education, and I was running enrichment programs and international teacher education programs.
And I worked in schools almost my entire career. I was mainly a counselor and became a community school director, administrator. And Andy only gave you part of the story. Neither of us worked just one job at a time. We always had something else that we were doing. The main something else I was doing was working as a mobile DJ, which the whole family got involved in. And so we put in a lot of hours and worked really hard, rewarding for the most part. And now we get to retire and enjoy this next chapter.
Do you want for anything down here? Do you lack anything?
Stress.
Stress, we don't want it. We're not looking for it. I feel we've made just a complete lifestyle change. It's just, we've gone from working, lots and lots of hours, being on the go, lots of friends, lots of social activities, to this nice, slow, serene lifestyle where we have, we walk about 3 hours a day. We have time to do journaling, to do meditation, to do a lot of reading.
Last week we went kayaking 3 days in a row. And then I took people who had never caught fish out fishing 2 days in a row, and they were amazed at how much they were able to catch. Kept some, released some. A lot of people eat a lot of fish here.
If you're looking, when we've met different people that have come down to look around here, say, if you're looking for lots and lots of nightlife and lots of fast movement and activity and all of that, this is not the place. It's just not. It's a drive to get into San Felipe, not a long drive, but a drive. And there's just, nothing right in our immediate area here for, I'd call it entertainment, but we've just switched gears, and this is what, and many of the people who are here now are looking for the same thing. They wanted a slower lifestyle. They wanted, more in touch with themselves, their kind of inner workings, and it's just very reflective time, I have found, and it's beautiful. It's a feast for the eyes everywhere you look here, which is also wonderful.
Seems like they have a lot of community things to do. Very active clubhouse. Do you folks get involved in that?
Very much so. We do a lot of entertaining people for dinner. I try to do a welcome dinner for new people that move down here so they can get to know other neighbors. Today I had my book club here. We do a New York Times top 10 books, which has been wonderful. We play pickleball.
And a few days ago, you organized the pickleball round robin.
Yeah, we did that. We do a lot of swimming in the pool. The pool is beautiful. Take advantage of the beach. I've reached out to activities outside of just here. There's yoga. I belong to a knitting group. on the board of the South Compost Community Center, which hosts monthly activities, dinners. We had an art studio tour on Saturday we were involved with. So there's plenty of opportunities. There's also volunteer opportunities at the school if people would like to do that. There's plenty of things. And there's also the opportunity, if you've got an interest in something, to just speak up and organize it, and find people that want to be participants with you.
So you have a lot of neighbors around here.
Yes.
It's a building community. When we first moved here 4 years ago, you could count on one hand the number of homes where the people were living here. And it's really been multiplying. And that's kind of exciting to be part of a building community from the ground up, so to speak. It's really fun.
You do a lot of fishing. Do you have your own boat?
A couple of them. An aluminum boat, kayak that we don't fish off of, but a lot of paddling around. And recently bought a ponga because that's the boat that most of the Mexicans use for fishing, and it's perfect for this environment.
And where do you launch it from? Right here at the beach?
Yep, about a quarter mile away. And it's something that feels almost like cheating. It's really so easy. And I've only fished for the last 69 years. And the fishing oftentimes in the past was waiting all day for a bite, or casting and retrieving for my health, not getting any strikes, or catching fish now and then. Here in an hour, I average about 10 fish, sometimes many more than that. And again, release more than we keep. We want there to continue to be the prolific fishing. But fishing is just another excuse to be on the water for me. Because the water is right here and we can walk to it in 4 or 5 minutes, don't need to always fish, just most of the time.
Do you see a lot of wildlife out there? I hear there's a lot of it out there.
Andy, how about telling them about the couple weeks ago?
We were out on a kayak, and all of a sudden there must have been 500 birds surrounding us. They were doing what do you call it, a feeding frenzy? Mm-hmm. Just diving, and splashing, and huge spouts of water going everywhere. It was just unbelievable, being right in the middle of that. And we've seen, turtles out there, sea lions.
The dolphins.
You've heard the whales a couple weeks ago. It's magnificent. Lots of wildlife out there and around.
And finally, would you do anything differently if you had it to do all over again?
It would have been nice to have come sooner, but it wasn't really happening that much sooner than we came. I don't know if I would do anything differently.
We often say we have no regrets about the decision. It was what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a new adventure for this chapter in our lives. And it was a really, I'd say, pretty easy transition here. And we are very, very glad that we made this decision to be here.
We have a home, also a cabin in the mountains east of San Diego, and that's a beautiful area to be. So between looking at the way that life is around us there and the way it is here, we get a tremendous amount of variety. And for me, it's about learning new things. I knew that physically I could do well and have the downhill curve kind of gradual by taking good care of myself and getting a lot of exercise and activity. But mentally has always been something that I was concerned about, getting older, wanting to continue to have new challenges and keep the mind going. And moving to a new country and being in a different environment has been really good for keeping that learning curve going.